Imagine waking up tomorrow and every song you've ever heard has disappeared. No lullabies, no birthday songs, no national anthems, no humming in the shower, no concerts, no music in movies. No one sings, ever. At first, it might not seem like a big problem. After all, music doesn't grow food. It doesn't build shelters. It doesn't stop a charging mammoth. If you were designing a species from scratch, music probably wouldn't make the survival checklist. Food. Yes. Water. Obviously. Fire. Absolutely. Music. Probably not. And yet, every human society ever discovered has music. Every single one. From tiny hunter-gatherer bands deep inside rainforests to the largest cities on Earth. People sing, they clap, they dance, they create rhythm. Even cultures separated by thousands of kilometers and thousands of years all somehow invented music. That raises a fascinating question. Did humans invent music? Or did evolution invent it for us? Imagine an Ice Age evening. The hunt is over. The fire is burning. Nobody has electricity. Nobody has television. Nobody even has language. At least not the way we know it today. A child accidentally hits two sticks together. Talk. Another person answers. Talk. Someone starts walking in time. Then another joins. Before long, the entire group is moving together. Nobody planned it. Nobody says, "Congratulations, everyone. We've just invented rhythm." It just happens. And that's the strange thing about music. People often think music begins with instruments. Scientists increasingly suspect it began with people. Long before humans carved flutes from bone, our bodies were already making music. Your heartbeat has rhythm. Your footsteps have rhythm. Breathing has rhythm. Even walking beside another person. Your brains naturally try to synchronize your movements. Rhythm wasn't invented. It was discovered. Hidden inside ourselves, waiting to be noticed. Here's something funny. Have you ever started tapping your foot without realizing it? Maybe while waiting for a bus. Maybe while listening to a catchy song. Maybe while pretending you weren't enjoying that catchy song. Congratulations. Your brain just reminded you that rhythm is surprisingly difficult to ignore. Modern neuroscience has found that humans naturally synchronize with repeating beats in ways that very few other species can. Not perfectly, but remarkably well, which suggests something interesting. Maybe music isn't fighting against evolution. Maybe it's one of evolution's favorite tricks. Now imagine a hunting party. 8 people, 8 spears, one enormous mammoth. If everyone runs whenever they feel like it, the hunt becomes chaos. One person trips, another throws too early. Someone else runs in the opposite direction. The mammoth wins. Again. Now imagine those same hunters, moving together, same pace, same timing, same moment. Everything suddenly becomes more predictable, more coordinated, more successful. Scientists studying cooperation think synchronization may have played an important role in helping early humans work together. Music may have been one of the easiest ways to create synchronization, not because songs are magical, because shared rhythm changes shared behavior. Here's a simple experiment. Try clapping together with someone within seconds. You'll naturally adjust your timing, not because anyone tells you to, because your brain wants to. Now imagine 50 people, or 500, or 5,000, still clapping together. That feeling is surprisingly powerful, and it may explain why music still fills stadiums. Thousands of years after the first campfires, one of the oldest known musical instruments ever discovered is a flute carved from bird bone and mammoth ivory. It's over 40,000 years old. Think about that. Someone spent hours carving tiny finger holes into a hollow bone, not to hunt, not to cook, not to survive another winter, but to make music. That alone tells us something extraordinary. Music wasn't an accident. It mattered enough to spend precious time creating it. Now here's where the mystery becomes even stranger. Music seems completely useless until you look a little closer. Imagine a mother holding her newborn baby. The child doesn't understand words. It doesn't know what safe means. It doesn't know what everything is. Okay means, but the moment the mother begins to sing, something changes. The baby calms down. Its heartbeat slows. Its breathing becomes steadier. Long before humans could explain emotions, they could hear them. Scientists call this infant-directed speech the exaggerated, musical way adults naturally speak to babies. You probably know it by another name, baby talk. And here's the fascinating part. Nobody teaches parents to do it. People naturally slow their voices, raise their pitch, stretch their words, almost as if language briefly becomes music again. Some researchers believe this kind of vocal communication may preserve clues about how music and language evolved together. Not everyone agrees on exactly how that happened, but almost everyone agrees. Those early sounds mattered. Imagine trying to comfort a frightened child without touching them, without words, without explaining anything. You only have your voice, a soft rhythm, a gentle melody, a calm heartbeat carried through sound. Suddenly, music isn't entertainment anymore. It's communication. Not communication of facts. Communication of feelings, and feelings can keep families together just as effectively as food. Now think about another moment. A funeral. Nobody needs to tell people to whisper. Nobody needs to explain why slow music feels appropriate. Across thousands of cultures, music appears again during life's biggest moments: birth, celebration, marriage, victory, grief. Different songs, different instruments, different traditions, but always music. That pattern is difficult to ignore. Charles Darwin himself wondered about this mystery. He suggested that music may have existed before fully developed language. Perhaps our ancestors first used musical vocalizations to attract mates, express emotion, or strengthen social bonds. It was an intriguing idea. More than a century later, scientists are still debating it. Some evidence supports parts of Darwin's proposal. Other evidence points in different directions. The story remains unfinished, and that's one reason it's so exciting. Here's another puzzle. If music is so important, why don't chimpanzees have concerts? Chimpanzees certainly make sounds. Birds sing beautifully. Whales produce astonishingly complex songs. Even some insects create rhythmic patterns. But human music is different. We intentionally create melodies. We invent instruments. We teach songs across generations. We perform together. We compose music about things that haven't even happened yet. That combination appears to be uniquely human. Imagine one prehistoric hunter returning to camp after a successful day. He could simply announce, "We found mammoths." Useful information. But imagine instead the entire group reenacting the hunt, stamping their feet, clapping together, chanting, moving in rhythm. Suddenly, everyone remembers the story, not just because they heard it, because they felt it. Modern neuroscience tells us that rhythm and melody can strengthen memory. Ancient humans obviously didn't know the neuroscience. They only needed to notice that songs were easier to remember than speeches. Think about today. How many alphabet songs, nursery rhymes, or advertising jingles can you still remember years after hearing them? Probably more than you'd like to admit. Music quietly sneaks information into memory. It's one of the oldest learning technologies humans have ever used, and we still use it every day. Then something extraordinary happened. Music stopped belonging only to families. It began belonging to communities. A single person singing is beautiful. 100 people singing together feels completely different. Some researchers believe singing together increases feelings of social connection and cooperation, although exactly how and why remains an active area of research. That idea might explain something remarkable. Perhaps humans didn't survive because we were individually stronger. Perhaps we survived because we became better at feeling like one group. And music may have helped create that feeling. But maybe the greatest power of music has nothing to do with sound. Imagine standing around a campfire with 50 other people. The flames crackle. The stars fill the sky. Someone begins tapping two stones together. Tok, tok, tok. Another person joins. Then another. Soon, everyone is moving to exactly the same rhythm. For a few moments, 50 different people almost become one. Modern brain imaging has revealed something remarkable. When people make music together, their brains often begin showing synchronized patterns of activity, not identical, but coordinated in surprising ways. It's as if music helps separate minds, work together. No wonder. Every army marched, every rowing crew sang, every harvest festival danced, Keeping hundreds of people synchronized is much easier when everyone shares the same beat. Now imagine rowing across a freezing river. One person rows too early, another rows too late. The boat spins in circles. Everyone gets wet. Nobody is happy. Then someone starts chanting, huh? Huh. Without discussing it. Every paddle enters the water at exactly the same moment. Turns out, rhythm isn't just something you hear. It's something you can work with. Even today, construction workers sometimes move heavy objects together using shouted rhythms. Rowers still train with cadence. Soldiers still march in step. Thousands of years later, the same principle still works. Of course, music didn't solve every problem. You couldn't sing a mammoth into surrender. Although, that would have made archaeology much more entertaining. Music didn't replace hunting. It didn't replace fire. It didn't replace tools. Instead, it connected all of them. It helped groups coordinate, helped parents comfort children, helped communities remember stories, helped strangers become teammates. Sometimes, the most important technologies aren't made of stone. They're made of behavior. Here's another mystery. Why does music give some people goosebumps? You know the feeling? A certain note, a powerful choir, a beautiful violin. Suddenly, tiny muscles in your skin contract. Your heart changes. You feel emotion before you've even thought about it. Scientists are still trying to understand exactly why this happens. Research suggests that emotionally powerful music can activate brain systems involved in reward, prediction, and emotion, but nobody has the complete answer. And honestly, that's part of the magic. The more we learn about music, the more mysterious it sometimes becomes. Then there's dancing. Think about how strange dancing actually is. Imagine explaining it to an alien. So, humans hear organized vibrations in the air, then voluntarily start moving their arms, legs, and occasionally their eyebrows. From the outside, that sounds ridiculous. Yet nearly every culture dances. Children dance. Long before they understand choreography, nobody needs to explain joy. The body already seems to know what to do. Some researchers think synchronized movement strengthens trust and cooperation. Others argue it's a byproduct of other adaptations. The debate continues. But one fact remains. Humans almost everywhere dance. Maybe that's the biggest clue of all. Music appears wherever humans appear. It survives wars, famines, migrations, empires, plagues, technology. Even when languages disappear, songs sometimes survive. Even when civilizations collapse, their music can echo across centuries. Very few human inventions have shown that kind of resilience. Now imagine meeting one of those first musicians. They wouldn't call themselves a musician. They wouldn't know the word. Maybe they're simply tapping a hollow log, blowing across a bone flute, clapping beside a fire, laughing with friends. They have no idea that tens of thousands of years later, people will perform symphonies, write film scores, play electric guitars, compose music with computers, or send songs into space. They're simply enjoying one evening with the people they care about. And somehow, that tiny moment never really ended. Every concert, every lullaby, every national anthem, every wedding song, every campfire guitar, every child humming to themselves can trace an invisible line back to those first rhythms echoing through the night. Not because anyone planned music, but because being human seems to have always included the desire to turn sound into something meaningful. So, why did humans invent music? Maybe we didn't. Maybe music was waiting inside every heartbeat, every footstep, every shared moment, until one curious group of humans finally listened. And once they did, the world was never silent again. If you enjoyed exploring one of humanity's greatest mysteries, subscribe to Sketching Humanity. Every episode begins with a simple question and uncovers the extraordinary science hidden inside our everyday lives.